Zach, you're messing up the sacred timeline.
What? Oh my!
Oh, missed minutes on the drop list? Stay tuned. Welcome back, Gainers, to another incredible, exciting, fantastic episode of ComicGains. If you're new to the show, I'm Adam.
I'm Zach, and this is Princess Aurora has doing the Princess Wave, so you do it too. She's holding Coco, so also Howard the Moon. And
Yeah, that's how it works. All right, guys, we're back on this beautiful Monday. We're starting off a brand new year. That's right, it's 2023. Ooh, yeah, that's exciting. I think this will be our first show of 2023. So, what's a good way to start off 2023?
With a drop list, guys.
With a drop list, yeah. So, we got a nice, fun 5-book drop list for you. Some good lady covers. And Miss Minute's a lady, right? She counts.
Oh yeah, that's a lady.
Oh yeah, she's a lady.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, we've got some nice, great books to discuss with you, and also we want to discuss Zach's favorite drink this 2023.
I don't know if it's my favorite drink, but it's Aqua Max Performance Hydration Fruit Crush. It has electrolytes, and as you know, electrolytes is what the body craves.
And also plants.
And plants. Brondo. Yeah, that's what it looks like. So let's see if it's any good.
They need to make Brondo.
Brondo, what plants crave.
How is it? What's Tropical Crush taste like?
It's refreshing, but it's almost like watered down. It's like you get one of those slushies, the fruit slushies, then let it melt.
Oh,
it's
okay.
like, okay.
The bottom part?
Yeah, they're like, it's really watered down.
You know what also is refreshing? Hanging out with us on Whatnot, so you can check us out. Both of us have shows. We got ComicGains and Princess of Gains. And we have a special code down below. If you're a first-time buyer, you can save $15 off your first purchase. Help support the show, and you can learn something about the Wall of Gains and Wheel of Gains.
It's arguably the best 2 shows on Whatnot. So if you haven't been there, you're missing out. $1 starts.
30 seconds. All right. Let's get into this list. Let's crush this list out. Let's start off right. We got Timeless. Number 1. The cover you're thinking of, the variant cover, the one we all wish we would have put on our order list, but we weren't sure it was going to be that hot as it was. From 2021, you got the Humberto Ramos variant cover. So this is obviously important because this is the first cover appearance of Miss Minutes in the Marvel comic universe. So she actually came out as a character in the Loki TV show on Disney Plus, which was awesome. I love the Loki TV show. Miss Minutes was a cool character. Kind of like secretly knew what was going on and kind of acted like this goofy little like Disney character at the same time. Fun thing, but this came out as the regular variant for the Timeless book in 2021, and it just had a choice. We're like, hey, were you gonna pick the Miss Minutes cover? And a lot of us were all like, that's silly, you know. But then we realized it was very expensive right off the bat, and for good reason. And if you guys aren't familiar with the Timeless book, it's basically a roadmap of all the cool things that are going to be happening in the Marvel comic universe in that coming year. And there's a lot of cool stuff that happened in this one. You got like Punisher's armor. They debuted the new Young Avengers. They also had a cameo of the new Iron Fist. Ling Lee showed up in there. So some cool stuff. We just got Timeless 2023. Just came out this last week. So we got a new roadmap going into the new one. This one was a little more like ominous of like what was happening.
Right.
Like he kind of got these weird visions of pictures, but there was no words. So you have to kind of like decide what you think those pictures meant for the coming year. It was kind of cool. Some cool stuff. We might have to like dive into that in a later episode. But we know we're getting a Loki season 2, so I'm guessing Miss Minutes will come back. So this book has dropped a little bit, so it might be a good idea to pick this one up. Yeah. It's also a cool like second print 1 in 25
black and white. Yeah.
White one that's also worth a lot of money too. Pretty cool.
Right. Yeah. A year ago, it was hot, and now it's on the drop. In the CTC 9.8, it was $249.99. Now,
that's crazy.
It's $81.
For like a brand new book right out the gate?
Yeah, brand new book right after gate. 9.8, probably only had a few of them at the time, so the prices were really hot, and it was very talked about. Range is as low as $51.05 to as high as $271.66 throughout the entire year. $126.95 is the average. It might not be a bad idea to get this book at $81. Probably it's going to double in price once the new Loki show comes out. So you might do a nice little quick flip whenever it comes out. You know?
Yeah.
Might make some money on that.
Yeah, I like when books come out like that where nobody expected this to be a hot book. That's when you know books sometimes have a little longevity because they're like nobody was anticipating this. It just got hot by accident, which is kind of fun.
Well, absolutely.
Okay, next up on the list, we gotta hang out with our friend SpiderGwen in her first appearance at Edge of Spider-Verse #2. I know everybody wants this book. I wish I had a copy. We get to look at Zach's copy though. This is from 2014. You got Robbie Rodriguez and Jason Latour working on this fantastic book, fantastic series. So many good books in Edge of Spider-Verse. This is the first Edge of Spider-Verse series, but this is a great book because it's first appearance of Spider-Gwen, Gwen Stacy from Earth 65. It also has first appearance of MJ from Earth 65 as well, who's actually become more of a prominent character. She's the one that dons the Carnage costume later. Not our Mary Jane, but MJ from that universe. And, she came out in Into the Spider-Verse, the Sony movie, and came into all of our hearts, and we all fell in love with her. We all loved, as Gwen Stacy before, but now we love her even more because she's Spider-Gwen. And, just a great book overall. I don't think it's, probably the second hottest book from that time era, if you're looking at Miles as the hottest book. I got some crazy heights in 2021. It's come down a little bit. But I think it still has ways to go. I think she's still going to be a long-lasting, great character. Don't forget there is a 1 in 25 variant from Greg Land that is the money book to own of this one. If you're looking to invest, that's probably the one to go after. There's a lot of other copies, though. A lot of other ones, second prints, other variants.
Design variants.
Yeah, there's a bunch of good ones out there, too. But the 1 in 25 Greg Land one is the investment book. But I don't know, Zach, how do you feel about Edge of Spider-Verse 2? Because I know you're invested in that book.
Yeah, just a side note. So the cover A rumors does say, and it's hard to say which one's which, is that it has an error printing where the background's a lot darker, kind of like folds in with other
more
parts
black
of it.
Than maroon.
Yeah,
the regular one's like more maroon.
I want to see that one is, but I can't prove it. I can't prove it. It's because obviously it's going to have different variants of like darkness, right? They got the regular cover that's like, okay, this is definitely not the error. But then you might have one that's like right in the middle that can be like, is it? Is it not? But I digress. So prices a year ago for a CGC 9.8 was $1,879.95. Now, last sale, $1,254.66. Not too crazy, but it is a pretty significant drop. The range throughout the entire year has been as low as $900 to as high as $2,500.
That's crazy.
The average sale.
That's what it should be, though. I think it should be $2,000.
Yeah, it should be. Average sale is $1,592.91. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. The heights that it's ever hit will hit it again, and the lows it hits could potentially hit again. But I believe this book will be a $2,000 book eventually. It might take 5 years, so it's questionable whether you should buy it now or maybe wait. Maybe it drops a little bit more, but it will be worth $2,500 or $2,000 again. So it might not be a bad investment to put your money into this book.
Yeah, it looks like in the new movie Across the Spider-Verse, she may actually be like almost an equal main character to Miles, like in the storyline. The way they're portraying it in the in the previews.
Yeah,
the way they're showing it.
And one last little thing, it's books that are keys that will have that effect. Other books that have minor keys might have different kind of results. So definitely big major keys is the rule on that.
Major.
Speaking
of major, in a galaxy far, far away, a long, long time ago, they made a little book called Star Wars Tales of the Jedi, issue #1 from 1993. This was done by Dave Dorman and Tom Veitch. And great little book, great little series. This is a 5-issue miniseries that came out that takes place 4,000 years before A New Hope. Great cover. I love those like old like Dark Horse Star Wars like painted covers. But this book obviously got really hot a year ago when they announced at the Star Wars Anaheim celebration. They gave everyone out these special booklets, and they had all the names of the upcoming TV shows that were going to be on Disney Plus, and one of them happened to be Tales of the Jedi. And everyone's like, oh my God, what's it going to be? Well, fast forward to the beginning of 2023. We've all seen that show, and it came out, and it was actually really good. It started out kind of slow with some short stories of Ahsoka, but then it really dove deep into like Count Dooku, and I really appreciated it. And it had the same art people that did Clone Wars and Rebels, so it's a great show if you guys haven't seen it. It didn't quite have to do with any of the characters from Tales of the Jedi, the comic book, but I think still that's a good series overall. It's a nice, good series to own. 5-issue book. It's dropped a little bit. It got really hot because nobody had any idea what that TV show was going to be about.
Right.
And if you're still interested in the book, it might be a good idea to pick it up. Zach will give you some numbers on it. I think all Dark Horse Star Wars stuff has potential,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Especially if you can get it for a great price. Prices a year ago in that regard was $299.99 for a CGC 9.8. Now it's $72. Big drop. Range is $51 to $349.95. Average is $167.69. So I would say this is a pretty decent book to buy. Star Wars books will have ups and downs. This is obviously the down for this book, and it's going to go back up.
Force choke.
They choke it because I believe there's multiple keys in this.
A little bit, and the cool thing about this book is it was kind of a dollar bin book before that announcement, and then it went crazy. And the nice thing, it went back down, but it hasn't gone. It's still a pretty coveted book. It's not going to go back to a dollar book ever again. So it's kind of cool that stuff like that happens.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Okay, all right. One of the most coveted characters in the household.
And one of my few PGX books.
Oh, we have a PGX one we're doing. Okay. We got Amazing Spider-Man 194 by our good friend Al Milgrom and Marv Wolfman working on this book. We had the first appearance of Black Cat. And this, I think, we've actually been on the drop list before, because this book it's got a little bit of a roller coaster ride. I think it will always be trending, always be hot. You just kind of gotta, it's one of those books you gotta jump in at the right spot. You gotta kind of what's that kind of Monte Cristo where they're putting their hands underneath the water, you gotta get it right in there.
It's called water striding.
See?
I don't know what that is. I just made that up.
But it's kind of one of those things, it's just constantly, a couple months later, it'll be back on the trending list, and a couple months after that, it'll be right back down, So you got to jump in at the right point. It was really hot back in November, or a year ago in November when the Morbius movie came out, but it got hot again, and I still think eventually when she comes to the MCU and she's done correctly, because we haven't ever really seen her, Felicia Hardy, if she's done correctly, this book, will probably never come back down. It'll be, might be your chance to jump in and out. Don't forget that there is an error printing. I know Zach loves to talk about the error on this book. It's got that a little extra yellow on the top border, which gives it quite a bit more value for that little error. And a lot of people don't realize about the error as well. But Zach,
hard to find.
Is it a good time to get the old Black Cat?
Well, just like the saying goes, bye, Felicia. It's down in price. It's a little bit, not too much. So for CGC 9.8, surprisingly they have copies in this book. In the CG, it's all black cover, so the smallest little defect you'll see from a mile away. So prices a year ago was $4,749.95. Now it's $3,101. Range is $2,500 to $5,100. Average sales is $4,194.09. This is the perfect book to make a lot of money on, because it's always going up and down, up and down. Eventually, like I've said, she's going to show up in the MCU, and from that point on, this book will probably just continuously, on average, go up year over year. Over a 10-year period, it's going to be on the up. That's what I think. I think this is a fantastic book. Get in any grade. Ideally, for a Bronze Age book, you probably don't want anything lower than a 7.0.
Yeah.
I would say. Silver, I think anything below a 4.0 doesn't give the same kind of oomph. But that's what I think. Get at least a 7, ideally higher.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell when a Bronze Age book sells pretty well at even the lower grades, that's when you know it's a good book. Mm-hmm. In a lot of books there, the Bronze Age books, if it's lower than 9.6, nobody even wants to touch it.
Yeah.
Not the Black Cat. Anybody will touch that.
I'll touch it all day.
All right. Let's finish this book off with some Silver Age goodness. This list off with some Silver Age goodness. We got Fantastic Four Annual number 6 from 1968. Got the old super group here. Jack Kirby and Stan Lee working on this. So this is a sweet, sweet double key. First appearance of Annihilus, ruler of the Negative Zone. And first appearance of Franklin Richards as a unnamed baby. Who is the son of Reed and Sue Richards, if you didn't know that as well, and speculated to be one of the most powerful mutants of all time. So just a great book. I know this book gets kind of like goes up a little bit and down too. It never goes like too far down right now because it hasn't ever really finished the cycle, but we got a nice boost with Multiverse of Madness, and that saying Reed Richards said he had a son in the movie. So everyone's like, okay, Franklin's officially in the MCU. Didn't say his actual name, but obviously that's their firstborn son. So got a little hype. There's a lot of people that speculate that Annihilus will at some point be the big bad for the MCU. He has that potential. I mean, and I think we're ways out, maybe even like 2 more phases before they even bring him, because you got to bring Fantastic Four, you got to bring Galactus in, then Annihilus would be a good step after that. If you bring Nova in, you could do the whole Annihilus conquest thing. There's a lot of good potential with Annihilus. So definitely a good book. It got that little jump from Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and now it's come back down a little bit. I can tell you from our copy, those square-bound ones get trashed, and like really easy, so especially those Silver Age square bounders get destroyed. So this is a good book, and like Zach was saying, you get over 7.0 or even a 4.0 over a 4.0 in that book, and you're looking at some dollar bills.
Yeah.
But it has fallen a little bit. A lot of speculators say this is the book to speculate on. So
I would agree with that. It's really hard to get on a high grade because they're just not selling them. So I found the most sales for the highest grade that I could actually get some good numbers on was a 9.0, guys. A 9.0.
Respectable.
Prices a year ago was $3,240. Now, $1,260.
Whoa!
Third of the price.
Zach might go and buy this book.
Almost third of the price. Range 1,260. So it's the lowest it's ever been in an entire year. To as high as $4,695
for a 9.0.
Average sales $2,652.50. Guys, that's double. That's over double the last sale, the average price. This is screaming into your ear. Like, this book is screaming, buy. Wait. Bye! Anyways, there's other people. But, yeah, this book is insane deal. If you get this in a 4.0, you're probably spending like $300. You're gonna make good money out. Most likely. We can't give a guarantee because life makes their own guarantees.
The only guarantees in life is death and taxes.
Yes. Those are 2 things.
Comics are not on that list.
Yeah. This is a high probability that's gonna go back up really quickly.
I like it. All right, Zach, pick of the week. First pick of 2023.
So I would say the first pick of the week that probably get the most gains on would most likely be the Timeless one for the price point. I mean, $81 is gonna double in no time. The price, if you want to pay quite a bit more money, FF Annual 6. I think that book is absolutely a banger.
Yeah,
a no-brainer banger.
I like it.
I'll have a good time with this one.
Stamp of approval. Mm-hmm. All right, guys, that'll wrap up the very first drop list. Not going to be the last of 2023, I'll tell you that much. You're going to get plenty more from the Gaines crew. So if you like hearing these drop lists as much as we like delivering, all you got to do is hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you always know when new things are going down. Leave a comment down below. Let us know if you have any of these books, or let us know what your favorite drop book of 2022 was as we're going into the next season. Always a good experience. And yeah, Zach, you got anything special?
You got to share. How you do that is, guys, it's the new year. So you know what comes with the new year? New resolutions, guys. You got to get that New Year's resolution and put it in your mind. Every time you go to bed, you put it in your mind. Wake up, you put it in your mind. And eventually, if you work on it, just don't procrastinate, but if you work on it, your dreams, your resolution will come true. That's how you get those resolution gains.
I like it. All right, guys. Until we see you next time, stay safe and remember,
get the New Year's resolution gains.
Get 'em.
Every single one.